All right, shalom, 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 peace, welcome, good morning, all that good stuff. It's your brother Martha IQAhmath, first name IQ, it's all the same. All praise, honor, and glory to the Most High, Yahweh Shai. No music, no intro, no nothing. We're getting straight to business. As you can see, if you haven't been aware, if you was sleeping, you don't know what's going on or what happened overnight, many of y'all should know Agent Orange went and made his move and invaded Venezuela, abducted slash kidnapped the president and his wife in an effort to overtake Venezuela to get the resources down there. We know that there's gold down there, oil down there, the whole nine. And he readily has made good on his promise that he was going to get back and take back everything that he wanted. So him being control of the earth made his move, made his move. So to no surprise, right? Why? Because Maduro came out and said, look, man, whatever you need. You want negotiations, you want part of the oil, you can have it. You want help with drugs, you can have it. You want gold, you can have it. Want me to break ties with China, Russia, you can have it. That isn't what he wanted. We know that he wanted a complete coup overthrow of the country, right? If I'm coming in clear, drop a 7 in the chat. Shabbat shalom to everybody that's in the house and that's tuning in, tapping in slowly but surely. Come on in, salute the saints. Feel free to drop in and acknowledge that you're here watching. You know what time it is. Wipe your feet when you come on in here. Make sure that you are sharing the information. You know, as time is breaking forth, the spirit of war is in the air, as you can see through the title. We're going to see, you know, we're going to categorically go down because this last 7 days or so has been heavily influenced by war, economics, things of that nature. You know, one thing's for sure, two things for certain. They always say if your economy is doing bad, war is the best way to go about reestablishing it, where you can get unlimited funding, money printing going on. You can shake down other nations. You can seize their resources and help and inflate your economy. That's one thing. And I'm gonna plug it again as I always do. South of the border, that documentary, I don't know, man. Maybe it just did wonders for me when it came down to me understanding a little bit more geopolitically how America is utilizing modern day colonization when it comes down to Latin America and their influence and how they influence the whole world. You know, through the International Monetary Fund, through these bloated loans that they give these countries who they know have the ability not to pay it back. So that initially allows them further control and colonization of these particular nations like Venezuela, Ecuador, um, Brazil, you know, many of these particular countries that were highlighted in that documentary. And they've been operating and trying to get a hold of Venezuela for quite some time now. And so far, so good in the eyes of America, right? So without further ado, all right, all praises coming in clear, man. Shabbat shalom to the families in the house. My brother Shar in the house. Shalom to you, good brother. Koaf in the house. Shalom, as always, man. Shabbat shalom. Salute to you, soldier. Shalak in the house. Shalom to you, my sister Rosemary and the fam out there in London, man. Shalom to y'all. Who else we got in the house? Uziel in the house. Malachi, shalom to y'all brothers, man. Naquab in the house. Brother Will, shalom to you, brother. Hopefully all is well with you. Hashemah in the house. Shalom, shalom. And anybody and everybody else, man, is going to be tapping on in, man. Come on in. Come on in. The water's well. The water's good, man. Shalom to my sister Hadessa in the house. Shalom to you, good sister. All right. So we got to get to it. We got to get to it. All right. Let me open this thing up. And without further ado, man, because one thing for sure, two things for certain, we're going to definitely expose this dude, man, because Agent Orange, we can't just keep saying it as some sort of cliche. When the Israelites talk about the so-called white man as a devil, what do we mean? Do we mean that he's the embodiment of Baphomet? Do we mean that he's the man with the pitchfork and the tail and the hoofs and the horns on his head and the red, the red, that kind of matches. All right, you got us there. But no, a deceiver, right? The devil is a deceiver. So when we're talking about the greatest deceiver on the earth, right, we're talking about him. How can we even establish that? One particular example. The Bible documents what Christ looked like, physical features and all. Documented him as a dark skinned man with white woolly hair. So-called white man has the audacity to say, no, that's not what that meant. Actually, he had flowing, dirty, blonde locks, brown hair, right? Blue eyes, red skin, and his name was Caesar Borgia. That's a lie from the pit of hell. That's one of the biggest deceptions that he put up in the whole earth. Let alone lying about who the Lord's children are, let alone lying about diplomacy, lying about the economy, lying about claiming lands are his that he discovered. I mean, the list goes on and on. So, with that being understood, right, let's start off here. Shnaki, I thought I was sharing my screen. Let me share it correctly. All right, we're going to start off here. There he goes, the man of the hour, man. So-called New Year's Eve party that they got going on at the White House, man. There you go, Agent Orange. Fox News, one of his favorite co-conspirators when it comes down to the media. Trump says peace on earth is his 2026 resolution. You know that's a lie from the pit of hell. What? You know, let him say it, because they're going to say, oh, yeah, there y'all go lying on the white man again. No, I'm going to let him say it. Did you hear that? Hold on. Some of y'all in the back are sitting back, still fiddling around in the kitchen. Some of y'all, left the room to go to the restroom, and some of y'all, they ain't paying attention. Hold on. Now, this was 2 days ago. 2 days ago, Fox News jumps out and asks him, do you have a quote-unquote New Year's resolution? Do you have a New Year's resolution? And we know what that means. He can't help but lie. But here we go. Peace on earth is his New Year's resolution. 2 days later, he goes and drops bombs in Venezuela, abducts and kidnaps the president and his wife. He's already been flirting around with and greenlit the bombing of Iran again via the small hat GMO community. Russia, he's talking about peace deals with Ukraine. That ain't going down. We're going to see all of that. So we're going to find out, is he going to uphold his quote unquote resolution or not? See, this is why, man, if y'all didn't see the video I did about the top 10 reasons why not to celebrate New Year's Day, here's one of them. This is why we know, man, that this dude is a damn devil. Even though we know he don't believe in the Most High, he don't follow it, but the Most High holds him accountable, because even Christ told us, by thy word shalt thou be justified, by thy word shalt thou be condemned. So all of this is he's setting up a high heavenly federal court case, right? The Most High is documenting everything that he's got going on, everything that utters out them two slits in his on his face that they call lips. That's all coming out, right? Everything that comes out of that mouth, that's that silver tongue, forked tongue that comes out of his mouth. The Lord said, yeah, I'm documenting it. I'm going to go ahead and take care of everything that he's saying, right? Keep thy foot when thou goest to the house of the Most High, and be more ready to hear than to give the sacrifice of fools, for they consider not that they do evil. Be not rash with thy mouth, and let not thine heart be hasty to utter anything before the Most High. For the Most High is in heaven, and thou upon earth. Therefore let thy words be few. Let me drop down verse 4. When thou vowest a vow unto the Most High, defer not to pay it. Isn't America under the so-called statute of saying, with liberty and justice for all, and God we trust? He gets sworn in on the Bible and everything else, right? He says that he loves Christians. He's not a Christian, but he's got a Trump Bible. He claims that he's a believer. Didn't he just get through bombing over there in Nigeria, saying he's got to go save the sacred Christians over there, that the innocent poor Christians are being persecuted? Oh, he's on a mission, on a so-called holy mission, right? So when he says his resolution is to make peace on earth, He's doing that before the Most High, because at the mouth of 2 or 3 witnesses, he's telling the whole earth, yeah, I believe in God. I believe in the Bible and everything else and everything that's righteous. And I want to protect his children. Now he said he wants peace on earth. Yeah, this is what he says. Okay. So when thou vowest a vow to the Most High, defer not to pay it, for he hath no pleasure in fools. Pay that which thou hast vowed. Better is it that thou shouldest not vow than thou shouldest vow and not pay. That's why we don't go out here following along with these phony traditions of New Year's, talking about my New Year's resolution is I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. I vow I'm going to promise to do better this year. And next thing you know, 24 hours later, you done already broke. And you double back. I'm gonna correct it. It's too late. It's too late. Okay. I'm gonna stop there right now because we got a few more things we got to touch on. Sirach 25 also was another scripture I wanted to bring out. Now check this out. Verse 1 and 2. Verse 1 is the positive, right? In 3 things I was beautified and stood up beautiful both before the Most High and men. The unity of brethren. That's very key. That's a principle that we've yet to learn within our community of Israelites, awoken Israelites, right? We haven't mastered that yet. We got a long way to go with that. But if we're going to be beautified before both men and women, we better figure that out, especially in the times that we're living in right now. The love of neighbors, a man and a wife that agree together. Beautiful, right? When that happens, the glory of the Most High is being exalted. The light of Christ is being shown, and this is the thing that the Most High holds dear. Verse 2, though, 3 sorts of men my soul hateth. I know the Christians, like they plugging their ears up right now. You can't say that word. You can't hate. The Bible says, hate the evil, love the good. The Most High said that it's okay to hate things that are unrighteous and wrong. Even David said, he hates every false way. Therefore, he keeps the precepts of the Most High. If it's fake, if it's wrong, the Most High said, yeah, you're supposed to hate that because that's what's going to make your soul cling to what's right. You have to have a utter detest for something that's wrong. You have to frame it in a way that this is something you have to hate so that you stay away from it. If you just have a mediocre thought about it, yeah, well, it's up to you. You know how these celebrities, rappers, and everybody else, right? When it comes down to the LGBTQ plus HIV community and all that, the community, the alphabet, people, right? They are quick to give out a disclaimer. I don't have nothing against that community. I don't, that's not me. You do what you want to do. It's all good. And this is why you see all these damn lawsuits from P. Diddy and Tyler Perry and everybody else talking about how they got taken advantage of, how they got, waking up with some soreness between their butt cheeks. You know what I'm talking about, right? This is why they talking about, hey, this guy took me down the Hershey Highway and I don't like it. And I'm suing. Because you didn't take a stance on hating that which the Most High called an abomination. That's what's going to keep you out of a casting couch. That's what's going to keep you out of compromising your morality and your dignity for money and for a contract and for fame and for wealth and for attention. If you don't hate them things, then you're subject to being swayed. So the Lord said, my soul hateth. What did he say? And I am greatly offended at their life. A poor man that is proud, ain't nothing worse. That the man ain't got nothing going on, but running around here pimping on women and sleeping on the couches of women that he's taking advantage of. Acting like, he's Mr. Know-it-all, but meanwhile ain't got a pot to piss in nor a window to throw it out of. So the Lord is saying, hey, there's some things that, a poor man shouldn't be running around here with his head up. Because even the Bible tells us, man, a man that doesn't take care of his own household is worse than an infidel. So a poor man has nothing to be proud of. He should be working towards building himself up and being a better example in the eyes of the Most High and his people. But notice this, it says a rich man that is a liar. You know that they said, man, Trump damn near doubled his wealth since he's been in the office, and it's only been a year. Technically, it ain't even been a year yet because he got sworn in January 20th. He's already doubled his money. He's at the Trump coin. His sons is out here monopolizing all kind of deals, running around the country with crypto this and crypto that. But you just seen a rich man that's a liar. He's done told multiple lies. He said that the economy is doing great, unemployment is up, inflation is down. What are people complaining about? We're the greatest country in the world. Meanwhile, everything is going to hell in a handbasket. All of the other countries, man, are laughing at America. They're turning away from them. He says that his New Year's resolution is for peace on earth. 2 days later, he initiates war. He's been in the Oval Office inviting international leaders over at Mar-a-Lago. They was partying over the whole Christmas and New Year's week. He had Bibi Netanyahu over there. He had Zelensky over there. He's had multiple other people over there. You dig what I'm saying? And now here you see, he jumps out and says the first lie of the first lie of the year. You should hate that. The Bible says it's okay. When he parades around his wife with this damn, silver, what do you call that material? It's kind of like see-through. Well, it wasn't see-through, but anyway, she got the aluminum foil dress on, whatever. A rich man that's a liar and an adulterer that doteth, meaning an old man that commits adultery. These are things that the Lord said is you can hate these things, man, because why? Because we know the track record of this guy, man. Micah 2. Y'all know the old classics? Micah 2. Woe to them that devise iniquity and work evil upon their beds. When the morning is light, they practice it. When did they go and invade this place? Early in the morning. I think it was maybe around on the East Coast time, around 2:00 in the morning, they went and did this raid. Drop bombs. They had CIA intelligence over there following practice, letting it be known where Maduro was over there. And the CIA had operatives over there that was Venezuelan. It wasn't no white men running around there in CIA. They got paid operatives over there, giving all the intel, man. Said, yeah, he's over there right now. He's knocked out. Him and his wife come through. Delta Force comes through, man, seizes him and his wife. What's his wife got to do with it? We ain't heard. We don't even know her name. But she gets drug away too and disappeared. Nobody know. They said they don't know where he's at. All the international leaders are saying we want proof of life. We're like, what's going on? And America's saying, hey, don't worry about it. We're taking them to New York for trial. New York? What? They said they arrested him for drug trafficking, having machine guns. Excuse me. At what point in time does the right to bear arms and for him being a damn president outlaw him from having a machine gun in his own damn country? You trying to tell me he doesn't have the right to protect himself or have the right to have armed protection as the president of a whole country? America said, yeah, he had machine guns that he intended on using against us. What damn machine gun is going to reach from Venezuela to America? Make that make sense. We ain't seen near drug yet. Over 11 boats bombed, 100+ people got put to death. I ain't seen the drug. I ain't seen powder. I ain't seen residue. I ain't seen nothing. Have y'all? If y'all have and you got it, put it in the chat. Let me know. Correct me. I'm open to it. But I haven't seen evidences of drugs yet. Am I saying that Maduro is all innocent and all that? No, I don't know. All I know is that America has had its eyes set on and been involving themselves in Latin American countries for years. Instituting coups, funding rebellions, establishing dictators, ruling particular countries. When it serves their interest, they get involved. And y'all remember from the start of this, they talked about it was about the drugs. And then later, Agent Orange comes clean and says, oh, no, actually, they got the oil over there. We want the oil. So we all know, everybody knows there's not no rocket science to figure out what this was all about. Drugs is the excuse. We ain't seen, heard, smelt nothing about no drugs. And then next thing you know, boom, he's out of here. Verse 2, and they covered fields and take them by violence and houses and take them away. So they oppress a man in his house, even a man and his heritage. So yeah, his wife gets snatched up too, and they charging her. America is a cold, cold place, man. Cold place. But guess what? When America is at the teetering point of economic collapse, they keep talking about the bubble this, bubble that. Next week, the markets is going to get reset. All of the traders and everybody's coming in back off vacation. The dollar's been plunging. The metals is up. Other resources is all coming up. Everybody's looking at America saying, what the hell is going on, man? We're in a financial crisis right now. And guess what? Agent Orange says, I got the solution. Push the panic button. Go ahead, knock that dude out, man. We're going to go get that oil. One way you're gonna get the economy back on track. Psalms 36, verse 1 down to verse 4. The transgression of the wicked saith within my heart that there is no fear of the Most High before his eyes. Yeah, he operates without the fear of the Lord at all. He thinks he is the Most High. You think he's worried about repercussions? You think he's worried about hell, the international courts ain't even tripping. He did this without congressional approval. That's illegal. He didn't even run it by them. Democrats in Congress waking up saying, what? Hold on. We talked about it, but he never said that we never greenlit this, nothing. Verse 2, for he flattereth himself in his own eyes. You see him walking around with that little tuxedo on, got his little trophy piece on his arm. Oh, yeah, everybody's looking good. Everybody's looking well. I love everybody. But I'm going to bomb. I'm going to take everything that I want. For he flattereth himself in his own eyes. Yet no man is more proud than Donald J. Trump, man. Agent Orange. No man is more proud than him, man. He says he's remember his first term, he said he's done more for black people than Abe Lincoln. Which that is a whole farce within itself too. Until his iniquity be found to be hateful. Oh yeah, remember that? Remember I said that. Hey, what? He is going to declare war on blacks and browns. Man. He's already been declaring it in the streets of the U.S. Now the fallout is going to hit Cuba, Venezuela. He said Colombia's next. He's already said Mexico. Something's got to be done down there. I mean, he's on a campaign, man. He's about to try to sweep everything up into one, throw it all in the basket, man, and take full advantage. See, once we realize, man, that this is all based upon his hatred for the Lord's people, man, then we're going to figure it out. His iniquity be found to be hateful. But continuing on, verse 3, the words of his mouth are iniquity and deceit. Isn't that what he campaigned on when he got elected? I'm going to end the Ukraine war within 24 hours. I'm the president of peace. I want the Nobel Peace Prize. I'm going to settle everything that's going on over there in Ukraine and Russia. I'm going to get Palestine and Hamas to get together and work it out. I'm going to get everything back on track, man. I'm going to make America affordable again. Meanwhile, he didn't do nothing but, cut people off of Medicaid, raise the price of insurance, of health insurance, EBT qualifications, and people getting cut off. HUD, Section 8, all of them having deficits and budget cuts and people getting kicked off. Your dollar don't stretch like it used to. But America's more affordable again, man. Repossessions is up. Foreclosures is up. And meanwhile, he done doubled his wealth. The words of his mouth are iniquity and deceit. He have left off to be wise and to do good. Verse 4, he devises mischief upon his bed. He setteth himself in a way that is not good. He abhorreth not evil. Yeah, he's sitting in his bed. He gets the call, Mr. President, strike is complete. They said it took about 30 minutes. Strike's complete. Did you get the little bastard? Did you get that wet back? We got him, sir. Excellent. Good night. As he lays and devises more mischief in his bed, he's saying, what's next? Get the speech writers together so he can go out there and dote himself on out there. He can strut on out there, man. The Most I said, man, he's setting himself up in a way that is not good. Nothing good can come of this. Nothing good is going to come out of this. But hey, don't listen to me. Listen to what the Most High says. Psalm 7, verse 14. Behold, he travaileth with iniquity and have conceived mischief and brought forth falsehood. There he goes again. I mean, for our people, man, who's out there slob knobbing the so-called white man, and still parading around here having hope in America, saying, yeah, he's doing the right thing, man. We got to get America back on track. Yeah, good for them, man. Them dirty, stinking Venezuelans over there selling drugs over here. I mean, again, you didn't hear about no damn Trende de Agua until the so-called white man popped out and said, yeah, there's a big gang running everything in America. I thought it was MS-13 before that. They were trying to demonize them. Remember they tried to use that the one cat man over there in Maryland that got deported? He's a citizen. They deported him over there to Venezuela. They were saying, yeah, he's a bad MS-13 gang member. Yeah, these guys are the big bad wolves of America. It's whoever he says is the threat. Now, you know, the so-called white man and his woman and all of them is hiding behind sheets and covers, saying the big bad Hispanic gangs are taking over America. Now all of a sudden, there ain't no Trinidad de Agua. It's, you know, Maduro's the head of the gang. He's Pablo Escobar 2025. I mean, knock it off, man. Behold, he travaileth with iniquity. He hath conceived mischief. So this is all conspiring, coming up with this whole plot, and brought forth falsehood. I'm coming to bring peace. That's my resolution for this year. We know that ain't the case. He made a pit and digged it and is falling into the ditch which he made. Yeah, because all of this is going to return upon his own head. Remember, the Most High told us in Revelation 18, reward her double, even as she had rewarded thee. So again, he's building a spiritual Fed case for himself as to why this place needs to be judged and why he needs to be removed. Whether it's him or the next president, whoever else comes up, you know, he still got 3 more years. Whether he survives it, we don't know. But the Lord said he's digging a pit for himself. Verse 16, his mischief shall return upon his own head, and his violent dealing shall come down upon his own plate. That's why when the scriptures tell us, hold on, let me get one more precept. In Revelation 18. It said, violence is going to return upon his own head, right? And let's read, we're going to read 19 down to 21. Revelation 18:19. It says, and they cast dust upon their heads and cried, weeping and wailing, saying, alas, alas, that great city wherein were made rich all that had ships in the sea by reason of her costliness, for in 1 hour is she made desolate. So yeah, all of the nations that were intertwining and dealing internationally with America, when America gets blown and destroyed and they witnessing the smoking of America, they're going to sit back and cry and say, damn, we used to get money over there, man. That used to be the land of milk and honey. We used to always be able to do what we want. When we was being oppressed in our own country under Sharia law and everything else, we can go over there, man, smoke cigarettes, get whores, do what we want to do, be sodomites, and live our life, and we can have our exchanges being done and get money and go back. And it's in 1 hour, man. This place is over with. Rejoice over her, thou heaven, and ye holy apostles and prophets, for the Most High hath avenged you on her. Who's going to be rejoicing? The holy apostles and prophets. As far as I know, and as far as the scriptures concerned, all the prophets prophesied unto John, carrying over into the apostles, man, who were all of Israelite descent. So who's really going to be the rejoicers of this? The Israelites, not the other nations. They ain't gonna have nothing to joy about. We just got to read, and they're going to be weeping. They're going to be talking about dust and wailing. They ain't going to be concerned about, oh, we're getting rejoiceful too. Great. Yeah, we're getting avenged too. You ain't getting avenged. For what? The nations co-conspire, man, and they sit back and aid and abet in the oppression, the destruction, the hoodwinking of our people, taking advantage of our people, man. What vengeance are they? What are they talking about? Verse 21. And the mighty angel took up a stone like a great millstone and cast it into the sea, saying, thus with violence shalt thou great city Babylon be thrown down and shall be found no more at all. So yeah, this is the current Babylon, the spiritual embodiment of Babylon, America. Babylon of old wasn't overthrown with massive bombings and smoking and burning in an hour. There was light war between the Medes and Persians, man, and Babylon surrendered and it was over with. So this can't be talking about ancient Babylon. This one's going to be overthrown in an hour. It said, but by violence, this place is going to be overthrown. Back to verse 16 in Psalm 7. His mischief shall return upon his own head, and his violent dealing shall come down upon his own plate. That's how he's building the spiritual Fed case on himself. Because the violence that he's exercising all throughout the earth, the violence that he's exercising and unlawfully running down there, kidnapping and abducting presidents and instituting coups and all that, Lord said, man, you're going to reap what you sow. That's spiritual principle. We ain't talking yin and yang and all that. No, reaping what you sow is biblical. That's what we talk. Verse 17, I will praise Yahweh according to his righteousness and will sing praise to the name of Yahweh the Most High. That's what we're going to do. That's what we should be doing, because that's eventually going to be our glory. Now, we done seen this dude lie through his teeth, man, forked tongue all day. Let's continue on. Look at this. Days before.
Let New Age products transform your garage into an area of your home you can be proud of.
Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro says he is open to negotiations with the U.S. to combat drug trafficking. In a state TV interview, the country's leader reiterated his belief.
Now, this was a few days before. He said he's open to talks with the U.S. on drug trafficking and oil, right? There's even a clip of Agent Orange being asked by the media. They said, didn't Maduro offer you everything? Like, didn't he offer to try to work with you? And he was like, yeah, he offered everything. But yeah, he did. But he didn't want everything. He wants his butt up out of there. He wants a coup. He wants a new implemented leader, a new puppet that's going to do their bidding, that's going to give them access to everything that they want with no restrictions and no say-so, no feedback, no nothing. So if this is a land of diplomacy and democracy, according to American standards and the Constitution and everything else, right? If you've got a leader of a country who's willing to work with you to stop the corruption and stop the problems that's going on in the country or that's causing your country problems, and you turn that down and resort to violence and kidnapping and murder, who's really the problem? I digress.
That the U.S. is looking to force him out of power and gain access to Venezuela's vast oil reserves.
He told no lies. Everybody knows that's the truth.
But he also declined to comment on a reported CIA-led strike on a Venezuelan docking area allegedly used by cartels. For more on this, let's bring in CBS News Pentagon reporter and producer.
No, we don't need to hear. We don't need to hear from her mouth either. The point is that days before that, he tried to negotiate again. 6 months ago, he already tried that. He said, "Look, man, get off my butt cheeks, man. No diddy. Get up off me, man. Listen, you want the gold? Let's talk about it. Want oil? It's yours. You got a problem with me, dealing with Russia and China? We can talk about it. I'll cut them off." Trump said, nope, 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 nope. What I want is you up out of there. U.S. captures Venezuela's leader and his wife in a stunning operation and plans to prosecute them. Prosecute them, right? Let me see. Hold on. I want to see if I can find that. What's her name? Pam Bondi. Let me see if I can find that. If they got it, somebody posted on here. Is this it? No. I ain't got no true social account, man. They've been posting it on there. See, I can't find the broad's thing. See, because the one she put up there, she had all the charges. Look at it. Face the full wrath. Maybe they got it on here. Let's see. Because I'm looking at the chart, I'm like, what? They didn't hit his wife and everybody. Let me see if they quote him. I can't find it, man, off the top. But yes. Whatever. But they charge him with drugs, having machine guns, and some more stuff. And I'm like, why would the president be, or how are you facing U.S. prosecution for having a machine gun in your own country and you're the president? It's wild. Wow. Let me see. Is this it? Come on, man. Knock it off, acting like they got him blindfolded, like he don't know where he's going. Oh, I can't find it. I don't want to waste too much more time on it. But anyway, y'all can, and I'm sure they're gonna, they'll post it sooner or later regarding all of the charges that they were facing, right? But anyway, the U.S. captured Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro, flew him out of the country in a stunning military operation early Saturday that plucked a sitting leader from office. President Donald Trump insisted the U.S. government would run the country at least temporarily and was already doing so. Did you hear that? How do you already bomb the place, kidnap and abduct the dude, and you were already running the country? And already have said, we're going to step in. The action marked the culmination of an escalating Trump administration pressure campaign on the oil-rich South American nation, as well as weeks of planning aimed at track Maduro's behavioral habits, including what he ate and where he slept. Maduro and his wife, seized overnight from their home on a military base, were aboard a U.S. warship on their way to New York, where they were to face criminal charges in connection with the Justice Department indictment accusing them of the role of a narco-terrorism conspiracy. Give me a break, please. Look, Trump did not seek congressional authorization to capture Maduro. That's illegal. Did it anyway, right? Democrats raised constitutional concerns and said the Trump administration had misrepresented its goals in Venezuela. Misrepresented? How about just say they lied? Can you do that? See, that's so you, man. This place is run on corruption and wickedness and evil and Satan. They can't even tell the truth in that aspect. Just say he lied. No, he misrepresented. China slams U.S. hegemonic acts after strikes on Venezuela. Now, this is interesting, though. We know that China, Russia have diplomatic ties to Venezuela. They've got embassies down there. They've had troops training down there before. They've got economic ties to that. So the question is what's the fallback going to be with them? China said it's, quote, deeply shocked by the U.S.'s military strikes on Venezuela and capture of President Nicolas Maduro. China strongly condemns the U.S. blatant use of force against a sovereign state and action against its president. A foreign ministry spokesperson said in a statement late Saturday, such hegemonic acts of the U.S. seriously violate international law and Venezuela's sovereignty. Oh, so the U.S. broke international law and Venezuela's sovereignty and threatened peace and security in Latin America and the Caribbean region. China firmly opposes it. What are they going to do about it, though? That's the question. Look at this. Russia harshly criticized the U.S. attack on Venezuela capture of Maduro. Now, here's the problem with this. And I thought about this in the spirit, and I was like, can they rely on these heathens, man, to get their back? Can they? Genesis 40. What happened to Joseph, man? Was Joseph able to was he able to rely on the butler, man, to help him out when it was all said and done? Genesis 41:2. And it came to pass after these things that the butler of the king of Egypt and his baker were offended for their lord, the king of Egypt. And Pharaoh was wroth against his two officers, against the chief of the butlers and against the chief of the bakers. So if you're familiar with this particular history in this story, you would know that Joseph was already bound and in prison under false accusation of rape, I should say. according to YouTube standards, they don't like that word. So grape, right? False accusation, Potiphar's wife, because he wouldn't lay with her stank butt. She claimed grape. Joseph gets locked up, right? Now he's down there, he gets some company. The chief butler and the chief baker of Egypt gets locked up with him. They both have dreams. The butler ends up giving his dream to Joseph for interpretation. So does the baker. Both dreams, bottom line, summing it up, the butler had a dream. 3 days, Joseph interpreted and said, man, 3 days, man, Pharaoh's going to come to his senses, man. He's going to let you free. He's going to put you back where you're supposed to be. The baker, same thing. He says, it's not the same for you, bro. 3 days, you're going to hang. You're going to get put to death. Butler gets all happy and says, oh, man, great. Thanks for the news, Joseph. Joseph said, man, it's all good, but hey, just remember me when it's all said and done. Matter of fact, where's that at? Yeah, here we go. Verse 13 down to 15. Now it says, yet within 3 days shall Pharaoh lift up thine head and restore thee unto thy place, and thou shalt deliver Pharaoh's cup into his hand after the former manner when thou wast his butler. So this is the interpretation. He told the butler, 3 days, you're going to be back on point. You're going to have, access to being the servant and the high chief butler in your position again. So after he did him this solid, what did he do? He said, but think on me when it shall be well with thee, and show kindness, I pray thee, unto me, and make mention of me unto Pharaoh, and bring me out of this house. For indeed I was stolen out of the land of Hebrews, and here also I have done nothing that they should put me into the dungeon. So the butler was like, man, all good. All good. I got you. Joseph, my boy, man. You done looked out for me, man. I got good news from you. All praise. Okay. Now what happened when he got out? And the chief, verse 21. And he restored the chief butler unto his butlership again, and gave the cup into Pharaoh's hands. So that prophecy came to pass. The interpretation of the dream came to pass. But he hanged the chief baker as Joseph had interpreted to them. He got the same thing. 3 days later, it was the Pharaoh's birthday. He had a feast. Everything went down. He exalted the chief butler back to his position. The chief baker got put to death. Did the butler stand firm on his relationship with Joseph? Yet did not the chief butler remember Joseph, but forgot him. That's why you can't trust and make covenants with these heathens, man, because when it's advantageous to them, man, they'll leave you in the dust, man. Say they don't know. We ain't talking about the days that, because I know that some of our people are going to be out there. What about the freedom riders? What about the white man that hung and got persecuted for us during civil rights? This ain't the same thing. This ain't the same thing. Jeremiah 17 tells us too, don't even marvel, man. The Most High is going to cause them to treat thee well in the land of your captivity, in the days of our oppression. So when the Most High provokes them and makes them do that, that's him. That ain't because it's out the kindness of their heart. Because they love you so much. So I seriously doubt, I would be shocked if World War III is initiated with Russia and China intervening on poor old Nicolas Maduro's behalf and Venezuela's behalf, and gets cracking on the U.S. because they broke international law, man, and kidnapped their boy. That ain't even prophetic. That ain't even gonna happen. They're gonna they're gonna have a little public outcry, but ain't nothing gonna happen about that. The war is gonna start in the Middle East. That's according to the scriptures. It ain't gonna happen because of Venezuela. But this is just another example of how when you're of use and need, they're gonna use you. Sirach 13 tells us that. If he had needed thee, he'll use thee. But if he had no need for you, he's gonna cast you to the side. Paraphrasing that verse. So Maduro's gonna be forgotten. They don't even know where he is, right? Look at this. Now he's on to his next. Something's gonna have to be done with Mexico. Trump floats further intervention to Fox and Friends. So he told Colombia they're next. He's telling Mexico something's got to be done down there. What do they got down there? more access to resources. You know how much agriculture products come out of Mexico that we're dependent upon? Colombia, you know, he knows what he's doing. See, because even with the fallout of this with Venezuela, man, Cuba was heavily relying upon them for oil, for their power and everything. Cuba's about to, you thought Cuba was bad now. Now that America's in control and they're enemies of America, they're going to starve them out, man. They're going to jack Cuba up so bad, it ain't going to be funny. Now, President Trump on Friday said that the U.S. operation that led to the capture of Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro was not intended to send a message to Mexico. Can we trust that? Though he suggested additional action may be necessary to combat drug trafficking. I mean, the way that we've been hearing about the narrative of the narcos and the all of the cartel activity that's coming out of Mexico, you would have thought they would have been the first place that got hit. But no. Why? Because they ain't got the oil. They ain't got the gold. They don't have the resources. And with America in financial straits as it is, this is why they go hit that up, right? Trump called into Fox and Friends weekend for a nearly 30-minute interview. He got time for an interview. They got time today, huh? During which he described a U.S. operation involving airstrikes in Caracas and the capture of Maduro and his wife. Trump said the couple was extradited to the United States to face narcotics trafficking charges filed by the Southern District of New York. Imagine that. Now, check this out. I believe this is down in Florida. They already have crowds on the, hold on. I'm going to play this, but watch where we go with this one. Venezuela's continued celebration in Maduro following U.S. capture President Nicolas Maduro. This is propaganda at its
Sumo
finest.
citrus. It's sweet, it's tangy.
Really refreshing. I want to get to our team coverage, turning to the wild scene we've been witnessing all morning outside of El Paso and Doral.
Yeah, so many people showing support for Venezuela.
Look at how the news is reporting this as if it's a holiday. So many people are already out celebrating and happy down there in Doral. Huh?
After the capture of Nicolas Maduro, we do have Lowe's and Jolena Sparto live with more. Hey, Jolena.
Hi, I think you guys can hear me now, and let me tell you something. There is a massive dance party going on behind me. I just want you to take a look at it. I almost got caught in the middle of it, but I wanted to show you guys instead, so I stepped outside. But look at this pool of Venezuelan flags. I mean, just look at everybody erupting and singing and dancing.
Do you believe this? The Venezuelans now are out partying and dancing. Flags out. I mean, where's ICE at when you need it? No, I'm just playing. But seriously though, if ICE wanted to crack down, why are they not raiding this place right now? Didn't Trump say that Venezuela was one of the high-profile immigration countries? The Venezuelans got to get up out of here, Trinidad Agua and everything else, right? They got a mass of people out there. Not an ICE agent in sight. Apparently partying and happy that they finally got good old bad Maduro. I mean, these people out here partying, if you believe that. Okay, hold on.
There is so much emotion in this, mostly happy, but of course, it's a mix of emotions. It's been scary. It's been scary. And a lot of these people, they're Venezuelan, they're Venezuelan Americans. They have family.
Now, notice this. See this little shoulder right here? Notice her. She's the quote-unquote person going to get interviewed.
Back in Venezuela, and one of them have not slept because they have had to make sure their family was all right once they heard the news. And I wanted to introduce you to someone, 16-year-old Emily Tovar. Emily, tell me a little bit about what it's been like. You have not slept, have you?
She's coaching it. You have not slept, have you? 16-year-old, right? She got the Venezuelan flag already painted on her cheek, got the hat, got the flag, got the shades on. I mean, she's looking like she's undercover or somebody who's in disguise. You understand what I'm saying? But Let's let this go.
Yes, bro. Oh my God. Like you don't understand like the feeling that I have right now because I haven't been there in so long. I really miss being there. I miss my.
Honey, you can go back anytime you want to. What are you talking about? Why can't you go back? Is there any legal problems? I mean, what are you talking about? She ain't been back for so long, as if Maduro done closed the doors on his own people and saying you can't come back ever. Emily Tovar, 16-year-old from South Florida, right? Okay.
Family, I want to see them, but what is happening right now? Like I'm so happy that it's happening because they really needed to take down the president. They need to take out Padrino, that's Vladimir, and also Diosdado. They need to take him down. Those two are the ones who we need to take them down right now.
We need to take them down right now. Now, mind you, she's 16. She has not lived in Venezuela. She's gonna say she's been over in America for 8 years, right? So I'm assuming she got all her papers together, everything's solid, okay? But she ain't experienced no oppression. She ain't had no problems over there. What is she acting like she's some old political prisoner and she? Okay.
How long have you been here this week?
8 years. I've been living here 8 years.
And how long have you been here this morning?
This morning,
Celebrating.
oh my God, probably like 7 a.m., 6 a.m. in the morning until, I don't know.
And has it been worth the night of no sleep after hearing all the news and being able to celebrate what you're able to?
Yes, I was going to sleep and then I saw the news and I woke up my friends like, oh.
She was going to sleep and then she saw the news. Now, mind you, this happened around 2 a.m. She was going to sleep and then she saw the news. How many 16-year-olds are sitting up watching the news? She should be on TikTok and Instagram and YouTube, if that. You tell me she was sitting up all this time and all of a sudden she just happened to be news conscious?
I was so scared because of my family that they're living there. And
Now, mind you, all these people are people who Trump has classified come from whole countries, don't deserve to be in America, and if they ain't here right, you know, their people have been persecuted, been racially profiled, been tracked down by ICE, been beaten, been jailed, and thrown in alligator Alcatraz in that same state. And all of a sudden, they love America so much. They love, you know, what Agent Orange has done. They're acting like Maduro has been down there cutting off heads and doing all kind of bad. Is he a dictator? Are they dealing with impoverished situations down there? Has socialism worked for them? No. Is he the perfect president? No, probably not. I don't know everything about him, but I can tell you one thing. Anytime people are living in impoverished conditions, they're going to want to go somewhere where it's better. But here we go.
And my friends were like super scared. They were calling my family and all that stuff. But thank God they're good. They're in a safe place right now. And hopefully everything goes well in the future.
Thank God.
Okay, so y'all remember this. Remember this place I told y'all about? This website? Crowds on Demand. Protests, rallies, and advocacy. You can rent these things out. Request a quote. See this? That fast, they were able to organize and get this crowd all in one particular place. How did they do that? Was there some Facebook post that went up and said, "Hey, everybody, we're going to meet at the gas station on such and such, and everybody come out. We're going to celebrate the capture of Maduro and the bombing of our country, where innocent people were getting bombed, and even though you had to call and make sure that your families wasn't put to death, as long as they're good, come out and celebrate." Why would you not be mad that your families could have almost got put to death? Is that making sense to you, or am I tripping? Protests and rallies and advocacy. But again, this happened around 2 a.m. East Coast time. So that's why she said, "Oh, I didn't get no sleep. I've been up all night." Yeah, first of all, you was about to go to sleep. All of a sudden, oh, you watched the news, heard about the bombing, then you're calling your peoples. "Are you guys all right?" "Yeah, okay. We're going to go out and protest in a few hours." I mean, we're going to go out and let it be known. We're happy what happened. Organize rallies and get media attention for your causes and candidates. Yeah, you can purchase this. This is readily available. Audiences, events, and fan displays. Get on the map with attention-grabbing events and coordinated media effort. Call us, contact, request a quote. That fast, they were able to get an organized party, as the news is calling it. And everybody just so happy, man. Believe that if you want to. I'm calling Big Cap, CAP, bullish times 10. All these people are paid actors, man. They all out here rallying. They had the news out there right away. A little so-called 16-year-old girl out here, she could barely even, whether she was nervous or not, I don't know. Yeah, the president needs to get out of there. And Madrid, Victor, yeah, he needs out. Those are the bad guys. We needs out. Meanwhile, she ain't been there who knows how long. How has she been on press? How is she, carrying the torch saying this is why? She can't politicize any of this stuff. But I digress. That's my assessment of what's going on. You can believe what you want to believe. Look at this. Venezuela accuses U.S. of bombing residential areas. And supposedly our people, the Venezuelans, they out there celebrating. The innocent residential areas were being bombed. Now, that's a reason to celebrate? Is that legitimate or not? Venezuela accuses the U.S. of hitting residential areas in a wave of strikes. Early Saturday announced a major deployment of military resources. The timing just is so ironic, man. At 2 a.m, all of a sudden you've got the girl said she was out there maybe 6, 7 in the morning. So within 4 hours, that's when you get the word. That's when they hit the strike. Then it's going to take a minute for the news cycle to kick in of what happened. So give or take, within 30 minutes to an hour, the news starts spreading around. So maybe 3 a.m, everybody gets the word out. So you're telling me within 3 hours, they was able to organize this whole little dance party and rally, and everybody got the flags out and painting their faces and hats on and shades on to disguise themselves. And if you watch, what's the name, man? Again, you go watch that south of the border when they tried to oust Hugo Chavez. He highlighted that the media was being utilized to demonize him. They were being utilized as tools to create a perception in America regarding him and his governance of his country. So the media, again, is being used as pawns to create narratives. Meanwhile, Venezuela saying, hey, man, you done bombed some residential areas. Innocent people could have been, put to death in this, right? But our people is out there celebrating. Apparently, if you believe that. Let's look at this real quick. I'm not going to read this whole article, but CBS News, man, Venezuela strikes continue a long history of U.S. military interventions in Latin America. So they've got a history of constantly going down there. 1954, Guatemala, right? What do they do? Driven from power by mercenaries and trained and financed by Washington after a land reform that threatened the interests of the powerful U.S. company, United Fruit Corporation. You see that? Maybe we got to get back over here to set the precedence. Why is America always getting involved? Is it because they're worried about the drugs, or is it because they got greater interest? Sirach 13:4. If thou be for his profit, he will use thee, but if thou have nothing, he will forsake thee. If thou have anything, he will live with thee. Yea, he will make thee bare and will not be sorry for it. He will come in and drain that place dry and won't give a care in the world about it when it's all said and done. Because if he can profiteer off of it, He's going to get it, right? Now, let me get back over here. So, Guatemala, it was all about U.S. interests of a U.S. company, Fruit Corporation. Cuba, 61. Bay of Pigs, right? CIA said they launched the Bay of Pigs invasion to liberate Cuba. The plan was to use exiles to overthrow Fidel Castro's communist government. At the time, there was a strong fear of the Soviet Union, but the mission went horribly wrong and became a black eye for both administrations of President Dwight D. Eisenhower, John F. Kennedy, right? You do your history on the Bay of Pigs. Dominican Republic, here they go again, 65, citing a communist threat in the Dominican Republic. The U.S. sent Marines and paratroopers to Santo Domingo to crush an uprising in support of Juan Bosch, a leftist president ousted by generals in 63. Oh, look at this. In the 70s, support of dictatorships. I thought that's what they were against. America stands for liberty, justice for all. America stands for democracy. Oh, no. In the 70s, they were supporting several military dictatorships in Latin America, seeing them as a bulwark against left-wing armed movements in a world divided by Cold War rivalries. It actively assisted Chilean dictator Augusto Pinochet during the September 11, 1972 coup against leftist President Salvador Allende. So, who do they say? They assisted a dictator to rule in Chile. U.S. Secretary of State Henry Kissinger supported the Argentine junta in 1976, encouraging it to quickly end its dirty war. According to U.S. documents declassified in 2003, at least 10,000 Argentine dissidents disappeared during that time. So are they against dictators, or do they support them when they fit their needs? In the 70s and the 80s, Argentina, Chile, Uruguay, Paraguay, Bolivia, and Brazil joined forces to eliminate left-wing opponents under Operation Condor with tacit of U.S. support. So they supported dictators in Argentina, Chile, Uruguay, Paraguay, Bolivia, and Brazil when it fit them right. Nicaragua, 79, Sandinista rebellion overthrew dictator Anastasio Somoza in Nicaragua. U.S. President Ronald Reagan, concerned about Managua's alignment with Cuba and the Soviet Union, secretly authorized the CIA to provide $20 million in aid to counter-revolutionaries, the Contras, partly funded by the illegal sale of arms to Iran. And if you know about that money going through Nicaragua went to the drugs that went over here to the CIA and everything else. The Iran Contra scandal, what's his name? Oliver North and all of that. Unbelievable, man. So America's had their hands in coups and uprisings, funding dictatorships when it fits their narrative. Look at it. Grenada, El Salvador, Panama with Noriega, right? And he was on U.S. payroll for a while, and then when they said he didn't have no need for him no more, man, they cut him off. See, look at this. Maduro's capture came 36 years to the day after U.S. forces arrested former Panamanian dictator Manuel Noriega. Noriega rose to prominence in Panama's military government before taking control in 1985. He spent years on the CIA's payroll, assisting U.S. interests in Latin America before falling out of favor with Washington in the late 1980s. That's Iraq 13 all day. Then what did they do? They painted him as this big old drug trafficking cartel leader and dictator that's destroying Panama, and America's got to come to the rescue. And George Bush, authorizes military raids. They locked him up, took him off the quote unquote, international streets. So this history runs deep, man. And we're seeing the same thing play out over and over again. Over and over again. Look at it. Trump says the U.S. is going to run Venezuela until it's safe. Just in time. Isn't that convenient for him? Take him out here. They can go run it. Get control of all of the resources, the oil, everything else, man. Bleed them dry. And it said they will not be sorry for it. That's what the Bible says. He said, "What I'm worried about is when they start using." Yeah, that's true, Naquab. That's the danger. That's the danger. Peace on
U.S.
earth,
President
man.
Donald Trump.
Remember, when we started this, he said that his quote unquote New Year's resolution is to what? Have peace on earth. Immediately. What, a day or two later, he's throwing out threats. If Iran shoots and violently kills peaceful protesters, which is their custom, the United States of America will come to their rescue. How convenient. We're locked and loaded and ready to go. Thank you for your attention to this matter.
Wrote on social media on Friday that, quote, if Iran shots and violently kills peaceful protesters.
Shots. Now I gotta say, this is he definitely had to write this because it's shoots. Excuse me, Agent Orange. Come on now, get it together. If I ran shots, this is the man who got the keys to the code. I mean, he's got the nuclear code keys, man. This is the guy who's running the economy. This is the guy who's we know mistakes happen, typos happen, but now with the advent of spell correct and everything else, I mean, how did he not catch that? If I ran shots and violently kills, bro, it's embarrassing, man.
Protesters, which is their custom, the United States of America will come to their rescue. A top Iranian official responded to Trump's comments, warning that U.S. interference in domestic Iranian issues would equal the destabilization of the whole region. The U.S. warning comes days into unrest that is...
But you know what? Something just came to me, right? Regarding one more thing.
U.S. President Donald Trump wrote on social media on Friday that, quote, if Iran shots and violently kills peaceful protesters...
Shots. Back to that protest, the little celebration real quick, man. Just a couple of scriptures to sustain that. Proverbs 4:16. Now look at this. We're 14 down. It says, enter not in the path of the wicked and go not in the way of evil men. So even the Bible tells us in the law in Exodus 23:2, so that we're not supposed to let's call it. Let me get it real quick. Thou shalt not follow a multitude to do evil, neither shalt thou speak in a cause of decline after many rest in judgment. So, in other words, man, the Lord said you don't follow the crowd, especially when the crowd is going wrong and doing things that's evil. You know, them rallying out there, man, again, I believe that it's fake. I believe that many of those people were paid protesters, organized by crowds on demand, utilized by the media and government officials, man, paying them people off and get out there and act like they're celebrating the invasion and then the endangerment of their relatives and all of that, right? At the same time, celebrating the same country who's demonized you, say that you can't be here, hunting you down in the streets, deporting you, detaining you, racially profiling you, throwing you in cages, disappearing you, separating households and men from their children, and all of a sudden now you're parading their cause because America went and did even worse to your homeland. I really have a hard time believing that's fact. Now who knows, man? Israel is some twisted individuals. Our people can really be wise to do evil, but to do good they have no knowledge, according to Jeremiah the 4th chapter. But something ain't adding up to me. So the Lord said, don't follow a multitude to do evil. We ain't supposed to be organizing and running after this foolishness, especially if they got paid to go do that. To demonstrate and to go out there falsely acting as if, you're really with the politics of how America handled that whole situation. Especially after the man submitted and said, hey, let's talk about this whole drug situation. I'll work with you. You want some money? Let's work out this deal with the oil. I mean, the man came with all intents and purposes of, he said, I know you're trying to get rid of me, man, but let's move past that. I can keep my seat, we can work on some diplomacy, man. We can get it figured out. And to get that thrown back in his face and then get raided and him and his wife being embarrassed like that, man, that's evil. So verse 14 says, enter not in the path of the wicked and go not in the way of evil men. Avoid it, pass not by it, turn from it and pass away. For they sleep not. Remember, didn't she say? You know, the white reporter, you haven't slept, have you? No, I haven't slept. They're up all night, man, celebrating, partying, organizing this rally, everything else. Isn't that what they said they were doing? Okay. For they sleep not, except they have done mischief, and their sleep is taken away unless they cause some to fall. So, yeah, they're out here losing sleep, having a good old time. Believe that if you want to. All right. So the U.S. has already made an announcement, man, that they're going to take a hold of Venezuela. They're running it right now, right? Now he's already made
This
threats.
is the story of the one who knows being ready for the unexpected comes from having a partner like Granger, whose professional-grade products and next-day delivery help him.
Going on over there with Iran.
U.S. President Donald Trump wrote on social media on Friday that, quote, if Iran shots and violently kills peaceful protesters,
I can't get over that.
which is their custom, the United States of America will come to their rescue. A top Iranian official responded to Trump's comments, warning that U.S. interference in domestic Iranian issues would equal the destabilization of the whole region. The U.S. warning comes days into unrest that has left several dead and posed the biggest internal threat to Iranian authorities in years. Eyewitness video from Thursday showed an overturned car and several fires as protesters chanted outside a police station in Loristan province. This week's protests over soaring inflation have spread across Iran, with deadly confrontations between demonstrators and security forces. The elected president, Masoud Pezeshkian, has struck a conciliatory tone. On Thursday, he said the government was at fault for the conditions that gave rise to the demonstrations. State-affiliated media and rights groups have reported at least 6 deaths since Wednesday. Iran has seen repeated bouts of major unrest in recent decades, often quelling protests with heavy security measures and mass arrests. But worsening economic problems may leave authorities more vulnerable now. Pezeshkian's government is attempting a...
So most of this protest is all economic based, man. People is over there living in squalor. Inflation's so high. They've got their co-op with the BRICS, right? Which America's been staunchly against, trying to stop Iran from establishing their own economy and economic payment systems with Brazil, Russia, and China, and India. So here in one instance, this is why you see the hypocrisy of America. One instance, they're talking about how much they want to protect the peaceful protesters. Meanwhile, they won't do that for their own people over here. That's a whole nother thing. Threatening military action against Iran because the people are broke and poor. But America is stopping Iran from establishing their economy so that they can make things better for their people by opposing their economic endeavors with Brazil, Russia, India, and China. See how that works? That's how they create boogeymen. That's how they create these old false narratives, man. Yeah, we're going to go liberate the people. Well, how do they get oppressed? It's because of us. You know, we're stopping their nuclear advancements with them being able to not have access to nuclear power because we're scared they're going to make a bomb and hit us up. Why would they want to do that? I thought you guys were friends. Remember the Iran-Contra scandal? Remember you guys used to sell them weapons? You guys had a good deal back in the day, right? Yeah, well, that all went bad. So we don't like them anymore. Dirty, stinking Muslims, you know. So when you trace it back, you say, well, how they get to this point, huh? All roads lead back to America.
Program of economic liberalization, but one step, deregulating some currency exchange, has contributed to a sharp decline in the value of Iran's rial on the unofficial market. That has compounded inflation, which has hovered above 36% since March in an economy battered by Western sanctions.
Oh, did you hear that? Western sanctions is causing a lot of these problems, man. But yeah, but then America runs out and acts like they're the freedom fighters and they're gonna go help these old poor protesters, man. Need I say more? Okay. So when we say white man speak with forked tongue, he's the devil. Don't trust him. Is it starting to sink in a little bit now? Is it making a little bit more sense for anybody to sit back and say, "Oh, how dare you? Don't call him that. It's horrible." It's fact and it's true. And the rest of the world is sitting back saying, "We know it, we see it, but what are we supposed to do about it?" We wait on the children of Israel to wake up, repent. We're waiting on them to come back and institute righteousness back in the earth. Let's continue on. Look, as Trump awaits Netanyahu's war pitch, Iranian president says Israel, the U.S. is already waging a full-scale war. So Iran is already saying, look, man, they out here playing games. We're already entrenched in a full-fledged war. Now, that doesn't mean that it's bombs dropping and troops on the ground. But the spirit of full-scale war is already in effect. They've already been hit economically, militarily. Now you hear the threats coming out. Touch one of them protesters and we're cock-locked and ready to rock. Do it. And it's on. 2 days before Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu was expected to pitch President Trump on a new round of war with Iran, Iran's president says the United States, Israel, and Europe are already waging full-fledged war on Iran, and that a return to kinetic warfare will result in a more decisive response than the retaliation witnessed during June's 12-day war. So, Iran is saying, hey, man, you remember what we had back in June? That little 12-day war, we're going to turn it up worse than before. Because they already see what's going on. And as according to Ezekiel 38, which we read a number of different times, Russia's job is to be a guard under Iran. They're supposed to come to their aid militarily. They're supposed to look out for them. So now we can kind of see pieces of the puzzle starting to slowly but surely merge even more together, leading towards the ultimate war of World War III. Iran vows a harsh response to any attack, as Trump says he, quote, knock the hell out of them if nuclear work resumes. So even after the so-called bombing of their nuclear reactors back in the summertime under the direction of Benjamin Netanyahu in the small hat GMO AstroTurf community over there, right? Now he's hearing word that they're going to rebuild their nuclear facilities and get the power back running, and Trump says, what? Let them try. I'm gonna knock the hell out of them. This dude be whiffing, man. Iranian President Masoud Pezeshkian promised on Tuesday a harsh response to any attack, appearing to respond to a warning the previous day President Trump over Iran's purported attempts to rebuild its nuclear program. Answer of Islamic Republic of Iran to any cruel aggression will be harsh and discouraging. And all of them doing on social media, man. You talk about social media, man, really running things in the new age. Everybody's making posts. Everybody's doing it via social media now. Even the damn presidents and countries are trolling each other on social media. Imagine that, the world we're in. America at war, at work again as normal. Dozens of missing children, including 1-year-old baby found in the sex trafficking scheme. So, when you're wondering where are these kids going, remember back in the day, man, in my generation, you had the milk cartons. Missing kids, you find them on the milk cartons. You might find them on the little classified ads, pictures of kids or whatnot. Now, we don't know where these kids is at, man. You've got kidnapped girls from Native American reservations that's being underreported and not even acknowledged and highlighted. We're talking thousands of girls from Native American reservations are being disappeared and abducted. So-called black girls disappeared out of Cleveland and various countries, various states throughout the country, let alone all of the children that's been separated from their families, crossing the border, that's been disappeared and missing. These high-level demons, man, out here abducting these children, utilizing them for sacrifice, utilizing them for their quote-unquote sexual pleasures, trafficking them around. This is what they feed on, man, because look, even when you deal back in the law, one of the laws that the Lord said that we're not supposed to allow our children to pass under the fire unto Molech. We weren't supposed to be observing or going after these heathenistic gods who took pleasure in child sacrifice. So these are all heathenistic, idolatrous abominations that the nations serve. And the so-called white man has no culture of his own, so he always adapts and takes things from others. So this is what he's done. When you're seeing nations like the Canaanites and the Moabites and all them having these particular gods, man, that relish in the sacrifice of children and utilizing the children, even when you see like the little Baphomet statue, what do they have? 2 children right there. Most of the time you see one with kids, if it ain't by itself, he's got 2 children next to him. See this one? And look at him. He's a little Jake, man, a little afro. See? This is what the high-level demons, man, and the occult practices that they observe here in America. This is what happens to these children, man. Look, more than 40 children aged from just 1 year old have been brought home in time for the holidays by a police operation after being snatched by sex traffickers. A total of 43 missing children from infants to teenagers have been found across 14 counties in northern Florida. The U.S. Marshal Services have announced. I mean, they even got things where they talk about the adrenochrome. You know, I don't know the whole knowledge on that, man, but they be talking about, you know, the so-called white man trying to find, you know, essences of the fountain of youth and him trying to extend his lifespan by taking things like adrenochrome and stem cells from babies. What's that white dude's name, man? Highlighted him before. Man, I can't remember his name. He's out of Canada. But we talked about him a couple weeks ago, man. It was over there trying to pay off black women, man, to have their babies so they can take the stem cells from the babies and they can try to establish themselves with some life extension technology. I mean, they're doing all this stuff, man. You see Kim Kardashian doing blood facials, you know, trying to be more youthful, man. These damn vampires, they like damn vampires, man. After blood, so they can try to, you know, have immortality. It's wild stuff going on. Truth is stranger than fiction, y'all. 9 people have been arrested as a result of Operation Northern Lights, which took place over a period of 2 weeks in involvement of 80 different officers from 25 agencies. I mean, they've had these particular rings, man. You can just look up different rings, sex trafficking rings, 200 something kids, 300 kids. I mean, all kind of matters, man. International rings going on. It's foul, really foul. Look at this. Russia releases the chilling video of Ukrainians' drone strikes on Putin's house, man. They did a drive-by on And I'd have to believe that this is real and not AI, only because news reports came out talking about it. Now, there was a report that first Russia was like, man, ain't no attempt been on Putin's house. This is at the same time that Zelensky is in Mar-a-Lago supposed to be talking about peace. Remember they gave him to December 25th to accept the peace, you know, peace terms that America laid out. And if not, that's Charlotte the water, my brother. There you go. Peter Nygaard. Peter Nygaard. That's right. That's that demon, man, that was involving himself in the immortality and the life extension that he was paying off sisters, man, to have babies with them to get the stem cells from the kids and, you know, ultimately unalive the fetuses, you know. The reason why I don't believe that this isn't AI is because you can see here, this truck SUV sees the drones, man. He's gonna take the hell off and get out of there. So they tried to assassinate Putin over the Folly Day, right? Now look at this. Frothing with rage, Russia threatens to kill Zelensky and parade his body after stirring up fury over denied Ukrainian plot to blitz Putin. Russia threatened to unalive Volodymyr Zelensky and put his body on public display after ramping up rage over a denied Ukrainian plot to blitz Vladimir Putin. Putin's goons hit the roof over claims rejected as total fiction by Ukraine that a drone attack was ordered to take out the Russian tyrant at his palace in Valdai. So the Ukrainians tried to deny it. And Putin, they put the video out. And now they were talking about, man, we about to, parade this dude around. We're going to put him to death. So much for them peace talks. We ain't going to read the rest of this for time's sake. But you should know that all that talk about, president of peace, he's going to want peace on earth, and that's his resolution, all that, they ain't going down. So-called Christmas then came and went. We're 8 days past that. What's the repercussions? Ukraine, they ain't came with no deal. But I said it before, they're going to kick the can down the road. Zelensky's going to show up. They're going to talk. They're going to say, oh, we got some ideas. We'll give you a little bit more time. Meanwhile, Putin ain't playing that. Putin orders expansion of Ukraine war in 2026 in a new blow to Trump's peace talks. Yeah. Putin says, man, there's going to be a long war now. He's already planning. He said, all 2026, war is still cracking. We ain't having peace. That's out. They also have instituted conscription over there in Russia, which is pretty much the draft. So he's arming up. He said the war is cracking for the rest of the year, and we're recruiting. So we can forget about anybody hoping for peace, man. Pray for Ukraine, pray for Russia, pray for peace. That's out. The scriptures say, hey, when they seek peace, sudden destruction is going to happen. That's just what happened. Supposedly, in the midst of these peace talks, man, Putin laid down some heavy strikes on Ukraine. Ukraine tried to take him out, try to bomb his little mansion. Sudden destruction happened. Look at this. Zelensky claims Trump is considering U.S. boots on the ground in Ukraine. So did Zelensky come up out of that meeting at Mar-a-Lago and let something slip out that he wasn't supposed to? Or is he lying? One of the two. They just got through talking, right? So if he's going to sit back and say, oh, well, we left the meeting. President Zelensky, tell us about the meeting. President Trump is talking about U.S. boots on ground. He's going to help us. What? U.S. boots on the ground? Can you say that again? Oh, no, sorry. Too late. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky has newly claimed that U.S. President Trump is considering the possibility of deploying American troops to Ukraine as negotiations towards peace with Moscow stall. This is presumably connected with the promises of future security guarantees. Yeah, he said he wanted security guarantees for 50 years. You're asking some outrageous madness, man. That ain't happening. He can't guarantee peace tomorrow. You talking about for 50 years? Knock it off. And he didn't let it slip out that the possibility of troops on the ground in Ukraine is in effect. Everybody, let's give it up. The brave men and women of the FBI thwarted a possible jihad from happening on New Year's Eve, man. Again, let's give it up, man. Cash Patel, FBI, man, on their job. Woo! Where would we be without them? Believe that if you want to. I mean, okay, look at this. Did y'all hear about this in South Carolina?
In North Carolina, the FBI says it foiled a New Year's Eve terror plot. The 18-year-old suspect.
Now, me and the brothers were talking about this yesterday. FBI, all of a sudden now they're on top of their job, man. They foiled the New Year's Eve plot with the 4 people. 2 weeks ago they make the announcement. At the same time, people are still wondering what's going on with these Epstein files. Why are there all these redactions? You got millions of pictures and all kind of stuff going on. Trump's name mentioned thousands of times. You promised you was going to get into these files. You was going to bring stuff to justice, and ain't none of that happening. Hey, but we foiled 2 FBI plots. Come on now, give us some credit. Cash Patel getting caught abusing FBI privileges, man, sending private jets for his woman, man, flying her out to her concerts and flying all around. They don't want to talk about that. All right, let me let the sister speak.
Is accused of plotting an ISIS-inspired attack at a grocery store in Burger King. NBC's Sam Brock has the details.
Tonight, a potential New Year's Eve terror attack foiled after the FBI arrested 18-year-old Christian Sturdivant, alleging he vowed to use these hammers and knives to kill customers at a Charlotte area grocery store and a Burger King where he worked, in what authorities are calling an ISIS-inspired plot.
It was a very well-planned, thoughtful attack. He was...
He can barely say that with a straight face, man. It was a very, thought of planned attack. Yeah. 18-year-old kid, man. He's a mastermind. For what reason? I mean, I don't understand. How do these terrorists, so-called terrorists, man? There's always a manifesto left. There's always some notes left behind that they're gonna read. I mean, remember the guy that unalived Charlie Kirk? Oh, we found the text message between him and his, sodomite lover. Or we found the notes from Christopher Dart. We found the notes from... Somebody's always leaving notes behind, man. Scooby-Doo clues is being left all around. Nobody ever realizes, man, don't leave nothing behind. They just always leaving a note. Now, in this press conference, they was asked, do they know what fast food restaurant he was planning on attacking? They said no. The longer version of this particular press conference is like 20, 30 minutes, something like that. Initially, they said, we don't know. We know they worked at a Burger King, but we have no conclusion that that's where they was going to hit. This news channel jumped out the window and said, yeah, he was going to hit the Burger King where he worked at. Where'd that fact come from? Because it wasn't said in this particular... If you watch the whole interview, they said they were not sure. They didn't have that information. And they didn't know about a grocery store. Which one? Mind you, all this is supposed to be plotted New Year's Eve.
Preparing for jihad, and innocent people were going to die.
A U.S. citizen, the Department of Justice says the suspect turned his back on his country, consuming ISIS propaganda for years before posting threatening messages onto social media just weeks ago.
So Mr. Sturdivant started on the internet, making TikTok videos, and eventually reached out to what he thought was a member of ISIS. In reality, was an undercover agent with NYPD in New York.
When police executed a search warrant at the suspect's house on December 29th, they say they found 2 knives and 2 hammers underneath his bed.
Underneath his bed. Now, hold on. Also in this press conference, they said that the grandfather found the knives and the hammers and confiscated them. Then when the raid happens, the knives and the hammers are back underneath of the bed. What happened to the grandfather? How come the grandfather you didn't take them from him? Okay. Second of all, North Carolina is a pro-Second Amendment state. I find it highly doubtable that he would have got away with it, carrying knives and hammers. Somebody would have smoked him immediately as he got to yelling and talking crazy. Number 3. In 2012, I believe they said he had an incident, or maybe it was 2016, one of those particular dates. Like 4 years earlier, I believe. Or he was what, 18? I believe he was like 14. He had like a incident with a neighbor or something like that, and had a knife. They arrested him, and none of this was religious related, none of that, right? They arrested him. They were going to submit him for psychological evaluation. The judge let him go and said, no, he don't need no psych evaluation. That already should stop you and say, hold on. We've got a possible mentally ill young man who all of a sudden now they gave him a pardon and said no charges are going to be dealt with the damn knife and all that other stuff. And he can be molded mentally. okay, let's use him. Now, this is my theory. Based on history, based on understanding how the so-called white man and the CIA and all them work, we got a patsy on our hands. They asked the FBI and all them, well, what happened to them charges back in 2002 or no, not 2002 because he's only 18. It had to have been like 2016 or something like that. Naquab, if you remember, drop it in the chat. But he had faced something, he faced some charges earlier, 4 years earlier. So anyway, they say, well, we don't know what happened with that. He was a minor. Maybe they dropped it because he's a minor, but we can't speak on that. We don't know what happened with that. The judge let it all slide. Even then, they said we were monitoring the social media, all of that. We closed our case because part of his quote unquote deal was he was banned from social media and could not be on social media anymore. All of a sudden, they see him pop back up, a couple of years ago when he was like 16. He's back active on social media. And he's on TikTok and everything else. He gets in contact with a couple of undercover agents out of New York who quite possibly radicalized him because they saying, oh, he was already inquiring and he thought he was talking to some Muslims out of, and now next thing you know, oh, he was plotting a terror plot to kill. The FBI and the local police and all that are talking about, yeah, he was gonna ruin everybody's New Year's because everybody's out partying and that's our time. They're celebrating it. Who's celebrating at a Burger King at New Year's Eve? I mean, at that time, mind you, I'm thinking Eve. I'm talking in the night. A lot of fast food places was closing early for New Year's, or the inside was closed and you could only go through the drive-through. Grocery stores was closed by 9 o'clock or sooner. Who was he about to go get? Now, here's the kicker. Also in this particular interview, the FBI and all them said, they said, listen, the first people that's going to know about what's going on with somebody in your household is the family. And they said, it's up to the family. If you see or notice that one of your relatives is being radicalized or acting strange because of their religion, if you see something, say something. Let us know immediately. In other words, turn them in. Luke 21:16, and ye shall be betrayed both by parents and brethren and kinfolks and friends, and some of you shall they cause to be put to death. They talking about this little dude, man, is facing 20 years. They said, well, we don't know what the sentencing is. It's up to the judge, but, he's doing federal court today, and we'll see what happens. But, hey, we thwarted a big attack. Knives and hammers was almost swung and hitting targets on a day when everybody's supposed to be celebrating. Translation. This is all a setup. This is all a narrative that's getting put out there to target and to enforce NSPM 7 and also to justify the thought of quote unquote domestic terrorists who have different ideological beliefs than the quote unquote good old white Christian folks from here. So who's that point immediate fingers towards? Oh, you just came into the truth. How's your family treating you? Man, my mama don't like it. My daddy cut me off. My sisters, everybody hate me. They think I'm in a cult. That's now you've been given authority by the FBI to say, hello? Yeah, I need to talk to somebody in the FBI. My son, man, he's been out there with them crazy people out on the street. They talking about death to America, and they did that. And I'm worried because he's kind of slow. He got some mental problems. He might do something crazy. Y'all might want to look at them. Thank you for the information, man. We're already on top of them Black Hebrew Israelites. We're already on them. But this one in particular, oh yeah, let's go do something about it. You see how that's gonna work? Let me let this finish off. So if you follow the story, a lot of things ain't happening. And the problem is
In
that a
North
lot of this is
Carolina, the
moving. This could
FBI
happen,
says
this could
it
go down
foiled
at
a
any
New Year's
particular
Eve
point in time,
terror
could be
plot.
real.
The
But this
18-year-old
particular
suspect is
story,
accused
there's
of
too many
plotting
gaps,
an
too many holes, and there's too
ISIS-inspired
many things
attack
that
at a
they
grocery
slipped up
store in
on
Burger
that doesn't
King.
make sense.
NBC's
The social media just weeks ago.
So Mr. Sertivant started on the internet, making TikTok videos, and eventually reached out to what he thought was a member of ISIS. In reality, was an undercover agent with NYPD in New York.
Mind you, all of this is in the same timing of Agent Orange threatening Iran. How there's a big old stink about Muslims and ISIS cooperatives and domestic terrorists going on with Antifa and these other groups. So this is all giving excuse to wage war, get more funding, for American quote unquote defense.
Police executed a search warrant at the suspect's house on December 29th. They say they found 2 knives and 2 hammers underneath his bed, handwritten documents, one entitled New Year's Attack 2026, a Kevlar vest, and notes on possible targets.
I could tell you from his notes, he was targeting Jews, Christians, and LGBTQ individuals.
Well, I'm sure he'll be able to figure them out at your local Burger King and grocery store. He knows who the Christians are. He knows who the so-called Jews are. Now the LGBTQ plus, you can definitely sniff them out. But come on, that was his targets, man. I mean, why not go to a synagogue? Why not go to a church where you're confirmed and you know who these people are and what they believe in? All right, enough of this one. Let me move on. All right. Trump's hostile takeover of Social Security has led to a multi-million-dollar case backlog. So again, the attacking of the economy, they already been talking about, man, Social Security may be depleted by 2030, 2035 at the latest. So you, me, and everybody else who's working hard, looking towards retirement, getting taxed every 2 weeks or every month or every week, however often you get paid, money's supposed to be going towards your Social Security and your retirement, and they're saying that might be gone. You might be working for free all this time. In the next 5 to 10 years, there ain't nothing to fall back on if we're still here. Now they're talking about because of Doge and everything else, man, the Social Security services, man, are now being delayed. Millions of dollars, man, and people aren't getting their benefits. Look at it. Since the Trump administration took office in January, the Social Security Administration has experienced significant deterioration following cuts by the Department of Government Efficiency. Caseload backlogs have swelled to over 6 million, and applicants now face substantial obstacles in obtaining basic information. According to a Washington Post report, long-strained customer service at Social Security have become worse by many key measures. Employees who were not terminated or resigned in response to the changes have been reassigned between departments with minimal training for their new roles, further compromising service delivery. So they ain't got no problem collecting them taxes. That money's still coming. But when your check's coming up short, when you're looking for questions to be answered regarding your benefits and all that, that's gonna take forever, man. If you ever get dealt with. As the report notes, those efficiencies put in place by Doge staffers have left the agency in, quote, turmoil as multiple commissioners have come and gone, leading to record backlogs that have delayed basic services to millions of customers, according to the internal agency documents and dozens of interviews. So there you have it, right? The deterioration and the breakdown of Social Security is already in effect. So when they say, hey, man, the funds might be depleted in the next 5 years, they're on point. They're on point. 6 million Americans on Medicare will now need to get prior authorization from AI for these 17 procedures. Can you imagine now? AI will approve your medical procedures or deny them. Traditional Medicare in 6 states will soon feel more like privatized Medicare Advantage, using prior authorization to determine what care can be covered for older adults. Starting in January, 6.4 million Americans enrolled in traditional Medicare in New Jersey, Ohio, Oklahoma, Texas, Arizona, and Washington State will be part of a pilot program using AI for prior authorization. So prior authorization is, let's say you're on Medicare, you need a particular procedure done. You can't just go to your local doctor, your local specialist, whatever, and just say, hey, I need this done. I need to cover it under my Medicare. They're going to say, hold on, sir. Hold on, ma'am. You're going to need prior authorization first from your doctor. Your doctor has to approve this first, and he's got to get authorization through your insurance company to make sure that it gets covered and we get paid. If you can't get it authorized, we don't get paid. We ain't doing it. Now they're removing the human element out of it and saying AI is going to say yay or nay on it. So the furtherance of the beast system, man, and the dependence upon AI is taking full flare as older adults now, the elderly who, are more prone to needing medical care than some of the younger, now is at the will of AI to say whether or not you can get something done or get prior approval for something. The program known as the Wasteful and Inappropriate Service Reduction model will require additional approvals for 17 different medical procedures. Prior authorization means getting approval before an insurer will pay for a medical service or a drug. So, we covered that. So, there might be some drugs. I mean, your doctor may say, hey, we got this new drug on the market, man, that may help with your let's say, for diabetes, whatever. And you say, was it covered under my Medicare plan? I'm not sure, but you can get, if you get authorized, I'm gonna authorize it for you, and hopefully you can get it approved. Doctor submits it in. AI said, no, we're not covering this because it's got this particular whatever, this particular high cost risk, and we're not gonna cover that. You go back and you sitting back waiting for approval. It's been 2 weeks, 2 months. You hitting your doctor up. Hey, I tried to get you pre-approved, man, and the AI turns you down. Who you gonna complain to? AI? Or you hoping to get somebody human to deal with you? Going down the dark path, y'all. Dollar on the course for its biggest drop in almost a decade. So you see why warfare is on the horizon, man. America's in this last stretch, man, trying to save itself by initiating war and going out to colonize lands and loot resources, i.e. Nigeria, Venezuela, Colombia, Mexico, so forth and so on, right? Yeah, already got the $500 billion deal over there in Ukraine. Look at it. The Russian ruble was crowned 2025's best performing currency amid hopes of Ukraine ceasefire. I thought all those sanctions were supposed to be crippling Russia. Apparently not. Apparently not. Right. Trump says the job market is booming for the U.S. born. The data doesn't show it. Another lie. He says it's booming. If you're an American, man, you out here working, you got money, and I guess the Ford plants that got shutting down and laying off hundreds of people. Small businesses filing bankruptcy, man, firing people, letting people go. Massive layoffs going on in different corporations, man. Businesses shutting down. I mean, he says, if you're U.S. born, man, you should be working. Everything's solid. There ain't no jobs out there, man. You see the job reports been going down. They've been manipulating, fudging the numbers, man. People's out here looking for work, ain't happening. Ghost jobs all day. And he's saying, well, everything's great, but the data doesn't show it, man. As Jay-Z says, numbers lie. I mean, women lie, men lie, numbers don't. Okay? Most I say ain't nothing worse than a damn rich man that be lying. Niger adopts mandatory AES biometric ideas, breakaway states, deepen integration. The B system is in full flare. Niger now is on point with some of the other countries. If you go back and, y'all know I've been documenting the B system, the digital biometric marking of the system that's going on right now. Niger, here's another country following suit. See, the white men, they got America, like you speak about it being the scriptures speak about it being a dragon with, 10 heads, 7 crowns and all that, right? It's a hydra. They've got their hands and their tentacles in multiple aspects of evil, wickedness, colonization, destruction, you name it, right? So he's working multiple things at once. War, the beast system, the mark system, the philosophies and the doctrines is being full-fledged out there, getting thrown in everybody's faces. Propaganda is being put out there. Economics is being crashed and resustained with new forms. He's working tirelessly because the scriptures say he knows that he has but a short time. In Revelation, isn't it Revelation 12? Yeah, verse 12. Therefore rejoice, ye heavens, and ye that dwell in them. Woe to the inhabitants of the earth and of the sea, for the devil is come down unto you, having great wrath, because he knoweth that he hath but a short time. So he's working double time, man. He's beating his feet. Got his hands in all kind of pots, man, trying to ultimately sustain his control of the earth, which is going to slip out of his greasy palms sooner than later. So he's pushing this. He's pushing a new plague jumping off. If you see his record hospitalizations going on the East Coast right now with this quote unquote new variant of the flu jumping off, man. What was it in South Carolina, I believe it was the smallpox got people quarantined and telling people stay home, and the kids and everything else. I mean, he's operating in multiple facets, man. It's hard to keep up with this cat, but he's doing it. 6.5 magnitude earthquake shaking up Mexico. They had another 6.0 in Japan. You know, just as we know, this is all par for the course, man. Par for the course when it comes down to end time prophecies and what's going on, right? Why is this not pulling up? See, this is that BS. This is that BS that could be going on with this damn site sometime. 2 Ezra 9, 1 down to 3. He answered me then and said, measure thou the time diligently in itself, and when thou seest part of the signs past which I have told thee before, then thou shalt understand that it is the very same time. So we're measuring the time. We're parsing out the prophecies. We're looking at the times that we're in right now. We're seeing all of the world events that's jumping off, right? And it says that when you see these things are the signs of time, signs of the past, meaning things that we've been told now coming to pass, i.e. prophecy. Now the understanding becomes more clear that it's the same time wherein the highest will begin to visit the world that he made. And the Most High Spirit is definitely visiting the earth. We're seeing wars, rumors of wars. We're seeing plagues. We're seeing famines. We're seeing nation rising against nation. We're seeing earthquakes in diverse places, uproars of the people in the world, economies crashing. We're seeing everything go down. But the Negro can't do nothing but worry about the college football. Then thou shalt understand that it is the very same time wherein the highest will begin to visit the world which he made. Therefore, when there shall be seen earthquakes and uproars of the people in the world, then shalt thou well understand that the Most High spake of those things from the days that were before thee, even from the beginning. So we've seen the protests in Iran, multiple earthquakes happening throughout the earth. You know, time is of the essence, right? Measure out that time, man. Know where we're at. Know the time that we're living in. Know that it's of that time and of that essence, man, according to the Spirit of the Lord, right? So with that being said, man, prayerfully this was edifying for brothers and sisters, man. And we ain't done. We got a closing Shabbat class, man, coming up in a couple of hours. Tap in with us if the Spirit leads you to do so. Continue to support the channel and support the truth, man. You know, make sure you wipe them feet. You come in. If you're leaving out of here, hit a thumbs up on the button, man. Share it if you find this useful and for someone else. All right. So with that being said, man, I'm always let you know, man. Always fear the Most High, keep the commandments, don't shoot the messenger. Shalom.